Hello, it's the Daily Live Extra. Joined by Jack in the studio. I was just asking you, are we on YouTube, Ned?
Are we? Yeah, like every Monday we go on YouTube.
That was why I was asking. And he was looking at me, Jack, like he did. I was. If I was telling you to shut up, I wouldn't say it so nicely, would I? I'd just say, shut up.
Too busy trying to work out which Teletubbies to buy Cam's kid.
It's on now. It is. It's the no. I was asking you. It's the we've been no good on. No, leave it. Joined by Jack. Jack. It's the Monday after the Saturday before, which for me, I'll be honest, I've always had a little. Even in the darkest times, I've always thought, really though, I still think we'll be fine. On Saturday, I must admit, I was sat there thinking, we're going down. That's what a Monday's. I'm changed slightly today. I'm looking and going, you never
still
know.
Above the bottom three.
But on Saturday, mate, that terrified me. It's the manager's team selection terrified. I don't know what he's been smoking over there this week. And the performance of them players against a team who, for 63 minutes, wanted to be anywhere else but Goodison Park. They had no interest in winning a football match on Saturday. Marco was like, lads, just let these win, they're all right. And they were trying not, they weren't even competing. And once they went 2-1 up, they could have won 6-1. They destroyed us after that, but what a terrible result.
I think that's what Dyche said in his little post-match thing, didn't he? Said, like, none of them recovered from that first goal for a long time. I think later in the game, a few came a bit more back to life, but the second they scored, a lot of our team looked dead, defeated, done. And, you know, this was the big one. This is, for the last few weeks, I've had some very tough fixtures, and like we've all been saying, Fulham at home, if we're going to win one of our next few, it'll probably be this. We'll probably could really do with winning this because we're not going to pick up that many points in the time being, and it was always going to be a tough game. They're above us in the table. They're an okay little mid-table side, and that fair play to them. It was never going to be easy, but to play like that in not a must-win game, but effectively our easiest fixture in our last 4 or 5, like.
And that's not being. I don't think you're being disrespectful to Fulham. I think what we're saying is Fulham have been good this season and have got themselves to a position where it doesn't matter to them, which is a great position to be in with 7-8 games to go. For them to be in the first season back in the Premier League, and with still 8 games, whatever. Just think they've been safe for a while. So for them, it was just a game of footy, and I imagine, given the way Everton have been playing under Dyche, and certainly at Goodison, they were expecting a tough afternoon, bit hostile. They're probably thinking these are going to be all over us, and to get them trying to get the 3 points and all that. And when we've seen it as the luxuries of the past, when Everton have had nothing really to play for. We've gone these games and been beaten because the players can't quite get to that level.
They don't have as much on the line, do they?
No, and that's it. The pressure's not there, and they didn't have Mitrovic, who's arguably their best player in terms of the biggest threat. And so for Everton to concede 3 goals against the team that's won once in 28 games at Goodison, and without their best striker, and they've lost 6 on the run, I think, in all competitions. It's just embarrassing. What for the team selection? I mean, what did you make of Dyche's team selection?
Obviously, it's a disjointed team. So he's missing a few players, but I can't for the life of me understand starting Maupay. And it goes back to Ellis Sims. I was just saying this to you before we came on, but he started Ellis Sims against Man United and Liverpool. He's not started them in any other games, has he?
No.
Away both times as well. Then he brings Neil Maupay in for Saturday at Fulham at home. And then also missing Onana and Decore in midfield. And, Decore, he's not all that as a player. I don't particularly rate him, but he's been very effective in the sort of pressing from the front game that we've tried to develop under Dyche. And trying to replicate that without Decore just hasn't worked at all, has it? And the midfield looks a whole lot less balanced now. And then I think we've seen that in Fulham's first goal as well, because if you see how high our midfield was pressed up the pitch, Harrison Reed, Fulham's holding midfielder, was behind all of them and picked the ball up from our attack. And that's where they scored from, trying to replicate that press of Decore. And obviously we're not blessed with a good squad anyway, so we're not going to have good squad depth. But no, I didn't understand it from Dyche at all. There was a few decisions at right back. I know Patterson's quite raw. He's not all that either, but Godfrey's been terrible the last few weeks at left back, where his best performances for Everton have been, which might not be his position as such, but that's where he's played well for Everton. So then you're moving him to the right. Again, poor, gets dragged off before an hour. And James Garner.
To be fair, he was concussed. He was injured. To be fit in the event of being
fairness,
totally fair. Yeah, he was injured, but he wasn't. No, you're right. He didn't have a good game.
Still awful.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game. He is. I think when he plays left back, he has to concentrate more on the position and on what he's doing, and therefore he almost just. He just goes man for man almost and worries about what you're doing. He's never going to travel with the ball really in games. He's just there to stop you. On Saturday, and the irony of that was obviously on Saturday. I mean, I had mentioned this earlier. If Dyche was going to move, it might be to look after Anthony Robinson. But I thought Anthony Robinson didn't have a very good game anyway for Fulham at the weekend. But the way he performed at Old Trafford, see, this is why the team selection for me was mad. Because Godfrey did get dragged off at Old Trafford. There was no injury there. He was dragged off because he was abysmal at Old Trafford. It was the worst game I've ever seen him out for Everton, the Man U one, because he just didn't look like he knew where he was. So then play him again and throw him at right back when Nathan Patterson's back. Again, that was a bit mad for me. But then you see like Maupay coming. Ellis Sims slots that opportunity he had at United. Does Ellis Sims start Saturday?
I think so, yeah. I think Dyche is reluctant to trust him, but he'd still play him. So
he's missed one, which he should have scored, of course he should have, but why should that mean he's out the team? And the other thing as well I didn't understand was, we know that set pieces are really important for us. We've been quite strong off them. And from that starting 11 at Old Trafford last week, we lost two lads who were 6'3" and over out the team because he took Sims out by choice and Onana was missing. So already, and he's put Maupay in, who's my size, compared to like Ped or whatever. There's a big difference. And obviously James Garner I'm not going to go with James Garner, but I mean, already Onana's huge and Garner isn't. So straight away, we've lost two of our more physical fellas, if you like, out the team as well. And for a team that is, to be honest, set pieces have been a big thing of what we've done. That didn't make sense to me. Going from essentially a 4-5-1, which is what Everton have been under Dyche and done quite well with it. The last two games, he's gone to 4-4-2, but a skewed 4-4-2. That hasn't worked. It was honestly Saturday. I was just looking at that team. I was my birthday. I was all excited. Yeah, I wasn't, but I was thinking we'll beat. I thought we'll beat these today, no problem. Obviously, you're hoping. You're not realising that when Sean Dyche gives a press, I should have, but he gives a press conference on Thursday. There's still a day's training in which you can lose players, and Everton have been brilliant at doing that. I don't know why they do press conferences on a Thursday. Change that, because it's just nonsense. There's no reason not to do a press conference on a Friday, Everton. It's bollocks. Make them. I don't care if the manager start telling your managers what they have to do. Pussyfooting around managers that don't deserve it, as far as I'm concerned. Earn the right to choose what you do. But anyway, that's rant over. The minute that team come out at 2 o'clock, said to me, I'm going 3-0 Fulham. I'm never negative. I just thought that team won't win the game. I can just tell you right now, because I've seen it all before. I've seen Maupay all season. He's not good enough. End of story. People can say you're being negative or whatever. He ain't good enough.
No.
He's got one goal the whole season. Harry Wilson scored as many as Maupay is all season on Saturday just by kicking the ball straight. So did Harrison Reed. So did Dan James. All in the same game equalled Maupay's bleeding season tally. The lad isn't good enough. To me, two open goals, the two chances he missed as a centre forward, the header and the one-on-one. I've seen him in the team and I thought, it's not like we carve teams open and give him chances. It's not the way we play.
No.
And why are we playing 4-4-2? Why have we gone away from what seemed to be working?
To seemingly accommodate a player who isn't very good, try to play little bit more to Maupay's strengths. And we've done a few of these before, and I think we've tried to give a bit of credit to Maupay and say, look, he's not really in his preferred role, preferred position, and he's not all that anyway. But maybe if things were going a little bit better for him, no. Yeah. He's rubbish. That chance he
is in that role, and you've made a really good point that he's not in how his preferred role is, right? I think the thing is, I could have understood it more, even if he would have played Sims with Maupay, so he would have played 2 out-and-out strikers. I would have gone, okay, I can understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to get so Maupay can drop into the 10 and pick the ball up, and you've still got Ellis Sims, but him and Gray just meant we didn't have... There was one in the first half. In fact, you know what? It was after we'd equalised. It was 1-1. And I looked up and he got fouled on... Did he get fouled? Yeah, I think he got fouled. But he got fouled in the centre circle, in our half. But we were attacking. So Damari Gray, Iwobi, someone else was ahead of him. And I was looking at him thinking, why are you so deep getting fouled? Because all of our players were 40 yards further ahead of him. So it wasn't like the ball's come, he's took it on his chest, and he's had to come this way because he's getting pressed. And then we've broke. He come from deep where the other players were to pick it up, and then he got clipped. And it's like, that. When you start doing that, you're not doing your role.
No.
I have a go at my lad on a Sunday. If he's a centre forward, if he drops too deep, it's like you're leaving your position. Why are you coming to get involved where a midfielder should be? You should be the one pushing them the other way. When you're a striker, your role is to stretch the pitch as much as you can. You don't come and make the pitch smaller for the players. You want to take them defenders the other way. He does that too much. So putting him and Damari Gray doesn't stick there anyway. No. He goes everywhere. So
he's obviously been told not to stick in that area, hasn't he? So you're playing 2 strikers, sacrificing a midfielder for a striker, and still not really playing a striker.
Yeah, it was just a bit... like I said, if he'd gone Sims Maupay, I'd have gone, all right, I see what he's trying to do.
I can see how this works.
He's trying to go big man, little man, 2 forwards up there. Maybe, Maupay can pick bits up off Ellis if he's battling. To go with those 2 baffled me. And the other thing, I think really was like a big wet fish in the Alface, a big reality check, was when we went 2-1 down, nobody stood up. Like, nobody. It was just like they were resigned to it. And that scared me more than anything. That can, in games like Liverpool away or Arsenal away, even United away to a certain extent, you kind of go, yeah, all right,
it's probably done.
They think they're better than, they don't think they're good enough to battle. Should never come into it, by the way, to fight for everything, but it does.
Viewing it realistically, it's going to happen a bit, isn't it? But
at home to Fulham, and the crowd was still kind of with them. It was only 2-1, and I'm sure there was still half an hour or so left when they went 2-1, or probably more. That scared me. The reaction scared me, and I just thought, and I know we've got no Decore, we've got no Onana. They're big misses for us. Whether people think they're great or they don't think they're very good, they're still big misses. Physically, they're big for us, and they've been good. Just frustrating. Luke Kaplan says, big man, little man, cardboard box. He's absolutely right.
He's got the nail on the head.
He's hit that, hasn't he? You know what else as well, right? And this, people might shout me down for this, and they might be well versed to do it. But the other thing I didn't get as well, right? What I'd have done with the last 10 minutes is just put Yerry Mina up front or Michael Keane with Sims and just gone, we can't get near them in the midfield. Just bang it long, because if someone knocks something down because they're big and we get a goal with 6, 7, 8 minutes left, there was 6 minutes injury time as well. You might get a very unlikely... Listen, it mightn't have made any difference, but you've got 5 subs. Why don't you use them? Just try and get something out the game.
And there's no attacking options on that bench, really, is there? But
not without throwing Stanley Mills on, who's a kid.
Yeah, but then, if you bring on Mina, who's like, 6'5", or, tell Keane to push up, who's obviously okay around the box, or Tarkowski. It's what we did against Tottenham, really, isn't it? Fighting for the points. And, you could easily concede at the other end doing that. But if 3-1 and you're not making chances anyway, there's nothing really to lose, is there?
I just thought, try something different. And the other thing is, if he didn't even want to do that, like I remember Jurgen Klopp, like Liverpool were playing Arsenal. It was in his first season, and Liverpool were playing Arsenal at Anfield. I'm sure the game ended 3-3 or something like that. It was But they had Stephen Cork, remember Liverpool got him,
front,
and he put him up front for the last 50, and he knocked one down, I'm sure. Someone like Benteke scored and equalised, and he ended up getting a draw.
When they drew against West Brom too.
He done it at the Arsenal game as well. Done the exact same thing. Right, it's not great. It's not how you don't go, this is how we're playing now.
No,
but
it's a last resort.
What you're trying to do is create confusion for them and get the crowd whipped up. What we were doing wasn't working. Or, even if he didn't really want to do that, it's got nothing to lose. There's 3-1 with 5-6 minutes left. The game was flat. Why didn't he just bring Mills and Samuel Smith on? Smith-Samuels on rather at left back. Why don't you just throw them on and go ahead, lads? Give whoever's left a little boost and gives you some Premier League minutes. Because only using 3 subs, to me, it just made no sense.
Using less subs when you're playing well, obviously you can understand because you don't want to bring off a good performer, but no one's really playing well. Like you say, you've got nothing to lose. You've got a kid who can prove something a bit. He's not going to be anything special overall. He's not going to play the remaining games of the season, score every game, but what he can do, so he comes on with something to prove, looking to make his case. He can beat a man and put a ball in the box.
Well, both of them had a very eventful Sunday, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, Stanley Mills scored in the mini derby, a great goal, and Samuel Smith got sent off for a tremendous tackle. But, you know, them lads, giving them 10 minutes Premier League action the day before, that's not going to mean they can't play on the Sunday.
And even if somehow it did, which, like you say, it doesn't, Saturday's game should take priority anyway.
It's just a bit... I don't know. He just disappointed me Saturday night.
No, same.
Just thought, what is this? This is like a, you know, and it's 1 win in 8. You know, Frank Lampard was getting hammered for 1 win in 8 and things like that. Listen, I'm not saying you should still have Frank Lampard, who had another tremendous result on Saturday for Chelsea. I'm just saying, managers you've got to try to do something that's a spark. This team has let so many people down, so many managers down. Even with new players in it, it's let people down. So you're trying to give. He should be using everything at his disposal. Stanley Mills might come on Saturday, give us some width, get in the box, get himself a goal or something, and then he looks and goes, you know what? He might be all right for like the last 10 minutes of games.
He's got something to offer.
It's just something different. And listen, like you said, it might mean that Stanley Mills has got the captain's armband next Saturday and off we go. But he might go, that kid's got an eye for goal. He's proved that again Sunday. Score. I know it's a different level and all that, but
the thing is, with the position we're in, any player who can play a part in providing a goal or assist is useful to this team.
Yeah,
they have something to contribute.
Something to offer, yeah.
And that doesn't mean they should be playing every game or they're going to score every game. But if they can play a part in creating a goal, they've done more than a lot of those 11 players on the pitch probably would have done in that same time.
Yeah, it's just a bit. It's frustrating. Listen, thanks for all the birthday messages, by the way, and the well wishes. And the best one come from Kevin, who's wishing me happy 21st. So that's why I've got loads of love for Kevin Kraft, loads of love. All right, Ned. All right. God. But fair play, Ned. I'll let you give me a little bit of stick because I'm going to destroy you for the rest of the day. Some of your comments. So there you go. I've just seen something that was interesting. Kevin Kraft said talks have taken place between 777 and Farhad Moshiri over the potential sale of the club. Let's hope so. Mark McDonough says we were all over them for the last 15 minutes of the first half. We were, and I'm convinced if Maupay scores, the chances we win that game. He missed them and it affected the team. Well, an average striker puts Everton with 3-1 up at half time in that game, and it's game over. You missed them. Goes the other way. I'd
still hold the rest of the team accountable though for their mental drop off.
Listen, you've got to. Everyone still has to do their job, don't they? You still do your job. If the worst comes to the worst, you'd end up 1-1. You come out of it and go, well, we should have won. Maupay's missed it, but at least we got something. They didn't. The 3 goals were pathetic as well from a defensive perspective. We look at them in the final where they were terrible. But again, thanks for the birthday wishes, Agent Ancelotti Wanderlust 2. Colin Evans says, it's atrocious team selection. You can give Maupay as much stick as you want, but he's an inside forward, not a centre forward. Your Sims and Maupay calls correct, Bash, and Patterson should have started. Absolutely. Happy birthday to your lad tomorrow, Blue Cali. Taking him to the Palace game. How cruel am I? Yeah, that is quite cruel to take him the Palace game. You never know. And thanks to Brian for the happy birthday wish. Let me just get the stuff up here because that's gone off for some reason. I mean, what do we do now? Obviously, we finished the weekend still outside the bottom three, unbelievably. Somehow. I watched bits of Forest United yesterday. Forest had a couple of chances, but they weren't great. United could have won 4 or 5 in the end. Leicester, obviously, were inevitably beaten on Saturdays. They were always going to be at City, but they've got 3 games coming up, which I think will decide whether they stay up or not. And their next 3 games are, if you just bear with, I will give you them right now. Leicester's next 3 matches are Wolves at home, which is I mean, you look at that and you go, that Wolves are just starting to get results, aren't they?
Yeah, but away from home, the team don't score many goals anyway.
Yeah, you see, I think that one possibly ends in a draw. I think now that might be just massive hope by me, and it probably is. But they've got Wolves at home, Leeds away, right? Leeds away,
yeah,
tricky one. Then you've got Everton at home, which is a huge game, and then you've got Fulham away, Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, West Ham at home. So the last 4 are by no means easy either. Newcastle will beat them. I imagine Liverpool will beat them. I think West Ham are capable of beating them. Fulham, whichever Fulham turns up. So the next 3 for them are huge, aren't they? Wolves, Leeds and Everton for Leicester. If Everton would have won yesterday, 5 points ahead of them, I think Leicester would have been in big trouble. Because we could have gone there, just get a draw and get out of there. And that might still be the case, by the way. Just don't lose there. Forest, I think, are in trouble.
Big time.
I think Southampton are gone. So it's looking like it's between Forest, Everton and Leicester for those 2 places. Leeds, if Liverpool beat Leeds tonight, I think Leeds are in trouble as well. So it might be 2 from 4.
I think looking at our next few games, on paper, they're all winnable. But Palace away, they've improved in the last few weeks, but it is a winnable game. We've beat them already this year. Newcastle at home, obviously a much better side than us. But, you know, late kick-off at home, you know, maybe. And then Leicester away, which, like you say, could be a massive game at that stage of the season. And it's just like Saturday win, a must-win game out of context. But then it's just looking at what we've just gone through and what we've got coming ahead. And, you know, we have got games that we can win coming up, but we could have done without the pressure of these are must-win going into these because they are not easy fixtures.
It's just, the problem is, and you're right in some respects, saying it's not a must-win, but you've got to look at the balance of the games and go, it was a must-win. It was a team that, like I said, for 60-odd minutes, didn't look like they wanted to be at Goodison. There was no intensity from them. They had nothing up front, literally 0. The only thing they had is Harry Wilson's left foot shots. And what do? We allow him onto his left foot. And that, to me, don't get me wrong, when they went 2-1 up, we collapsed and they just took the game away from us. And like I said, they could have scored another 2. James had one that I don't know what Pickford was doing. Went behind Pickford and right the way across the line almost. The kid skied one over when Michalenko set him up beautifully. So that was, for me, like I said before, that was the real kick in the plum, just the way Everton did not respond when it went 2-1. There was just nothing there. And that would be the thing that would worry me. If I was the manager, I'd just be thinking, if we don't get, and the Decore's missing again at Palace at the weekend, he didn't sound massively hopeful that Onana will be fit either, which means you're going to Palace who are big, with 2
very
huge lads. So what, is Sims back in now? Because he's big, or is it again another away game against the team who are now won 3 on the run, who'll be confident?
One thing I think I'd like to talk about as well is Calvert-Lewin. Do you think that some of the outrage we've seen on Twitter about him not being involved after being featured in photos and all that all week is understandable? Or
I'll tell you why I do. Why it's a little bit. I'm not saying everyone is wrong for being outraged, but I understand why people are frustrated, right? When you believe everything you're told without it being full fact, then you're going to be outraged. So obviously the Bobble put something out saying he's in contention. He was never in contention for Saturday, apparently, for the Everton medical thing. Like that's not the Bobble's fault. That's just his training. But Everton made that worse because Everton put pictures of him out. Now, it's. I think Ped said this as well before. It's like if you don't tell people what the plan is, right? People will fill in the gaps for you.
Assume what the plan
right?
is.
So it's great going, look who's back in first team training, and it's Dom. Brilliant. Come out and give it some context then. Come out and go, we've decided he's training. We need him to do 2 full weeks really with the first team before we're going to consider him. If Sean Dyche says that in a press conference, if he'd have said on Thursday, Dom's going well, but I'll be honest, he's not in consideration for Saturday because we want him to have another week.
Video from 9 days ago, still on Everton's YouTube channel, that says Calvert-Lewin returns to training as Everton prepare for United. That kind of stuff is pathetic.
Yeah, so Ped's saying the video 9 days ago on Everton's YouTube channel was Calvert-Lewin was the headline, back in training ahead of the United game.
It was feature-length documentary about Calvert-Lewin being back in contention. And then
It is though, isn't it? But that, and in some respects, they're like trying to protect Dom on one hand, yeah, and on the other hand, they're hanging him out to dry because he doesn't choose whether he's in the squad. But Everton are building it up like he is in the squad. Yeah. And then people are going, oh, he's back in the squad because it looks like he's back in the squad. Do you know what I mean? So if that information's out there and you're not responding to that information, then all you're doing is whipping people up into a frenzy. Yeah. If Everton win on Saturday, and then Sean Dyche comes up and goes, but hopefully he's back next Saturday, everyone is like, boss, we just won and we've got Dom coming back. We get beat on Saturday, and he also... don't forget as well, people would give more like freedom, more rope, more leeway, is the right word, more leeway to Sean Dyche if Ella Sims would have started. Because you go, well, we're trying to bring this young kid on as well while we wait for Dom.
Who's a similar style to Calvert-Lewin, more similar than Maupay is.
And he brings him on a 3-1, yeah.
Game's already
so people are right to be frustrated. You know, people are right to be wound up. It's not, if Everton don't give any information out, then that's on them, isn't it? That's because if he's out training, right, and he's getting pictured and all that, then the Bobble's right to be able to put that out and go, he's back in contention, because he should be back in, because he's there.
You assume he's in contention.
Everyone assumes it. So that information's out there. So why shouldn't he put that out there? But because Everton haven't done a thing about it. Everton should have said to Sean Dyche, and Sean Dyche, grow a pair of balls, be honest with people. Be honest and go, the plan for us is he ain't in contention for Saturday, or he's 50-50 for Saturday. What's wrong with that one then? There's your get out. He's 50-50 for Saturday. We'll make a very late decision on him. So he might be in, he might not be in. Then we all go. We'd probably all go, he won't be in with me, because we'd all probably err on the other side. That's why people are frustrated.
Yeah. If you asked Dyche about it, he'd say, look, I'm not the Twitter admin, I didn't put the pictures out. You know,
of course, yeah.
But that comes down for a bit of communication within the club, isn't it? To say, like, look, like, to be honest with us, is he going to play?
Yeah.
It's false advertising, Ped says.
He's not involved. Why can't he just say that? This is what I can't understand.
It is weird.
The manager, I put that on the manager. He controls everything. When you're the manager, you control everything at a football club.
It would be helpful for us to just come out and say, like, look, he's not involved.
You tell him, stop putting pictures out, lads.
Yeah.
Stop putting videos out.
That goes back to just communication within the club, don't it?
I mean, John Jones, I get your point, says maybe he doesn't want to give any useful information to the opposition. But that, all right, fine, right? But if Dom was playing every week, then the opposition would know about Dom anyway, wouldn't he? It's not like Dom's this secret weapon that's coming in for him somewhere no one's seen him. We know he's amazing and it's going to take everyone by surprise.
It was Bekastani
who no one's... Well, you could see then now, the pivot know who he was, you know, what his XG was when he was born. That's what it's like now, whereas... I get it. So what exactly is it? A C-section? Was it a vaginal birth? And, you know, all of that, right? But the whole thing with that is... Use the 50-50 then. So us as a fan base go...
Prepared for
we kind of know then that there's a good chance he ain't in the squad. But I don't see anything wrong in this day and age. The players know everything, right? I don't see anything wrong with a bit of bump and... No, I don't see anything wrong, right, with them just going, he's not going to be ready for a couple of weeks. And
he said after the United game, when he spoke in the aftermatch of the United game, he said... Oh, he's doing all right. And then Thursday, he alluded to, you know. And then, you know, people put it out there. They have sources, they put it out there. And then it's after the game, it's, well, he's had a good week and we'll see if he has another good week. What I don't understand is, and, you know, journalists, again, if any journalists watching, not having a go at you, but please, when he's asked the question, please someone stick with it, because this is getting silly now. It's your job as a journalist, and I'm not having a go at anyone, but please don't be intimidated by Sean Dyche.
No.
Ask the question. It's your job, and I know loads of them do. But ask the question: what's going on here? Because you're talking directly to the fans. Fans are walking into the ground, gutted. It's creating as soon as people heard that Onana and Dominic Calvert-Lewin weren't playing on Saturday, there was a genuine drop in atmosphere.
Hell, mate.
Anyone who went to the match,
a drop for me.
Anyone who went to the match knows that for a fact, right? Now, people can turn around and go, well, no one said he was playing. That's not the point. The club have been alluding for the last 2 weeks that he's going to be involved, and he hasn't. And now they're alluding again. They alluded to it. Sean Dyche alluded to it again after the match.
Well, I imagine he will be in the squad this weekend.
But the point being is, someone needs to say to Sean Dyche, what's actually wrong with him? What was wrong with him? Why was he out injured? And where is he? Because fans actually deserve to know this kind of thing. Fans deserve to know when their star striker, who the club basically have hung their hat on and haven't bought another striker for 2 years, they deserve to know when he's going to be back. Because this is a joke now. It's a real joke.
What is mad is some of the views as well from why would you give the team, why would you let the other team know your tactics? It's not about knowing. What you've got to think of is what gives Everton a better advantage going into that game. The fans to be ready and prepared, or the opposition to know if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's in a squad or not. It's your own fans. Forget about Fulham. And what little tactical advantage. It's not a Champions League semi-final where every touch of tactics matters, every little bit. If Dom's, Onana was a kick in the balls because no one's expecting it. All right, that happens. He can't control everything. But the thing with Dom, it was always gonna create what it created. It was always gonna happen because it's been ongoing and ongoing. Players can be ill on the morning of a game and not be available. That's life. That's absolutely life. Or if you've got Dom banging goals in left, right and centre every week, and then he gets an injury on a Friday in training, all right, you might want to put that out so you say nothing till 2 o'clock. I get it. But we're looking for every positive outcome. We don't need anything negative to bring it down, do we, before a game? And that everyone, the football club, he's on the training videos that were out preparing for full, it's all there, and then he's not on the squad. That, if you can't understand that deflates a fan base, then that's up to you. That's up to you.
Hamstring. 10 weeks with a tight hamstring. No other information given by the football club. 10 weeks with a tight hamstring.
It isn't the Blues. Weeks. Hang on. There isn't. That's nonsense. Utter nonsense. Sorry, mate. That is utter nonsense.
You don't.
Not you. Telling the opposition is more impactful than the fans.
No, it's not.
Hang on. That's genuinely one of the most berserk things I've ever read in my life. As if a Premier League football club doesn't know every last detail about a football team. that's berserk. That is berserk. I'm moving on. That is berserk.
Yeah, okay. The last thing I'll say on it is a lot of people will go to that argument of you letting the opposition know. What is so specific about Dominic Calvert-Lewin that they wouldn't have trained for anyway?
That's what I mean.
What are you gonna do? Like drill headers, the centre backs. Like, there's nothing there's nothing specific, is there, that they wouldn't have been doing already?
No. So, Arad the Bio or whatever his name is.
10 weeks though.
Yeah.
Like 10 weeks.
Yeah, no.
11 weeks on Saturday.
I can't even be bothered carrying, because all that's done to me is just like, for someone who is normally got quite intelligent views, that's berserk. That absolutely berserk what I've just read there.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin
Deflating 38,000 fans isn't as impactful as letting Lewis Bowen-Morty know whether Dom's playing or not.
Yeah.
The fella who, I mean, you can argue, or he was at Everton when Dom was, I'm going to say coach him every day. Yeah, all right. Wouldn't have made any difference.
He was in the building.
Yeah, wouldn't have made any difference to Fulham. None. Zero difference to Fulham. Berserk. Utterly berserk. There you go. I've just seen Pep being compared to Sean Dyche. Yeah, move on. Let's move on. Let's go to the Premier.
They've both got nowhere.
Yeah. Richard says...
Got it. He just chooses to shave it off.
Well, in his current presentation, he has no hair. The very few hairs on his head.
The big bucks, mate.
Richard says...
It's the analysis.
Pretty fed up with everything at the moment. I hate to say it, but I can already feel myself turning against the manager. Just very slightly. I really thought we had a pragmatic realist in Dyche, one that would stick to a very rigid formula. He seemed to have let the job go to his head, and he's trying to be too clever rather than sticking to his tactical guns. Not really sure what the hell he tried to achieve the past 2 games. I don't know, sometimes they outthink themselves, I think, really. Because he's obviously lost those 2, and he's thinking, how do we combat it? But if you're going to go 4-4-2, which is fine, play 2 strikers then. Or at least play one who's capable of keeping the ball. The other one, if it's Damari Gray, then he's a floater, isn't he? He's someone who, he gave the ball away on the halfway line for the second goal, by the way, because he couldn't hold the ball up.
But he's not a striker.
Gaz says, I can honestly say I'm resigned to the Championship. Still need a massive rebuild up top, though. The teams that come straight back up always seem to have a 20-plus goal scorer. I can't see any of our current crop getting 20-plus even in the Championship. Obviously, a fit Dom would be, but what is a fit Dom? I forget. Got Cannon and Sims to fire us up. Neil says, hey guys, when do you think next season's kit will come out? Instead of what Everton do, leaving it until a new season starts. Well, no, they might bring it out at the end of the season because they're staying with Hull, but it's about the patches on the arm, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it is. Which one are they having? Neil says...
Our sponsor next year.
Do it?
That was our arse.
Yeah. Neil says, would you keep Tom Cannon and see what he's like in training, or would you put him in the first team, or would you put him on a season-long loan?
Next season? I think it depends how the rest of the season plays out for him and what league we're in. But he's doing very well at Preston. If we're in the Championship, absolutely keep him and play him. If we're in the Premier League, see how he gets on between now and the end of the season, and maybe a bit of pre-season training as well, what he looks like relative to the rest of our squad. But, he's doing all the right things, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Simon says 2 things from Saturday. Why play long balls to a 5'7" centre forward and leave Willian completely unmarked all the time he was on?
It was the marking at Harry Wilson which frustrated me as well, because you've got a right winger who only wants to be on his left foot. That's the one thing he can do. So the one thing you're telling your left back, do not show him inside, whatever you do. Not once. I've
got that on the final word, mate. I've got it on the final word because it's just so absolutely basic. It's like what you tell a child. Grim. It's very, very grim. Neil says, would you put Cody back in the team?
No, I'd put Mina back in the team.
Okay. I'd try Mina. Side everything else and it's not working.
If it goes off within 10 minutes, you've got Cody and Keane and...
Tom says, I never believed Dyche was the right man for us, and the style of playing performances we're seeing at the moment are exactly why. You can't play long ball percentage football in the Premier League anymore and expect to be successful. Also playing Keane ahead of Mina, Holgate and Cody, not playing Iwobi as an 8 and 10 and playing Maupay over Sims is scandalous, really. Yeah, I think I agree with most of that. I think I don't know whether Everton don't or haven't been playing long ball percentage football though. So we did on Saturday, I admit we did. I don't know what the tactic was. I don't know when Pickford's whacking it long to the wing, who he thinks is heading the ball. I didn't get it. I think you can do well by being organised and being physical. You get in the top 9 or 10 by doing that without much. You just need someone at the top end of the pitch. On Saturday, it just highlighted it again. I think Everton have got better players than a lot of that bottom half defensively and midfield wise when everyone's fit. They've got the worst attacking options in the Premier League by some distance.
And the lack of attacking options gives you the lack of an outlet to get the ball forward.
So the rest of it doesn't matter. Yeah. The rest of it doesn't matter because no matter how many times you get into that final third, you can't do nothing with it. It's irrelevant.
You take one brick out the wall, the whole thing comes down, doesn't it?
Jack's just throwing the bombs out here. Kane says, here we are to depend on Leicester results on our survival in the Premier League. The squad has no fight. All a bunch of Instagram footballers make themselves out to be superstars on social media. When we get half decent results, terrible attitude in the squad. If they had anything about them, they'd play like they did against Arsenal. First game, week in, week out. Thought we'd be alright under Dyche, but made myself look silly. Should know these players better. Well, let's see what happens, Kane. But he started off well, didn't he? But 1 win in 8 is awful. John Hickey says, after watching Everton lose again, all while having a severe toothache on Saturday, to get in the car and go to the dentist a few minutes ago, only for the car not to start. Simply Jesus put, Christ. Everton. He's had a night. John, you've had a mare there, mate. Jake says, still can't get my head around the system change in the last 2 games. It's not time for trying new things when we've had something that's been effective. Fair enough, no Decore, Coleman or Dom, but we hung Sims out to dry and then played 2 at home and not playing. Baffled. Yeah, it is berserk. That is the biggest thing for me. The maddest thing is that, all right, if you want to try and do that, but at least put the parts in that might make that work then.
Yeah, the ways it can most conceivably work. I think because losing to Corey, we've lost a big part of our game, and he's trying to make that up with a few different positions now. But we don't have the squad quality for that, and Dyche probably isn't an intelligent manager enough to do that, because that's not his style.
That might be, he mightn't be, I wouldn't say intelligent, but he mightn't understand that these players can't do that. So, Lampard learned this the hard way, and Sean Dyche learned it the hard way. Carlo said about these players, this team's got 2 faces. He's one of the most successful managers ever. Knew that he couldn't trust half of this team 1 week from the next. You can't. I just don't understand why you're 6 unbeaten playing a certain way. Well, 6, I dream. 4 unbeaten playing a certain way. And you go to Old Trafford and decide to play 4-4-2 against the team who are flying. And you blow it, which we did. And then you come home in a game that you must really win. And you've played something totally different again. It's like, you've lost the core, you've lost Onana. Why rip the whole thing up? Push Iwobi into midfield, put Gray. And the funny thing is, when he made the change, when we went 1-0 down, and he went 4-5-1, we equalised, and we were all over them. It's just that there was no reaction in the second half. That's what killed it. But we shouldn't have had to go behind.
No.
Andrew says, I'm in a state of shock over the loss at the weekend. I was so sure we'd win. We'd only lost 1 game at home since they took over. Fulham didn't have the striker, didn't have the manager, lost the last 5 games, nothing to play for, conceded 12 in the last 5. We needed to win. Dom was supposed to be back. The formation at United didn't work, so we wouldn't use that again. But we did, we always do, and we crumbled as soon as the onus was on us to do anything. Manager bottled it, played a formation that didn't work with players that aren't good enough to play it. Maupay, Michalenko, Godfrey. Basically, we were playing with 8 men. His issue with Patterson is strange. If you're going to play Godfrey at right back, then why can't you play Patterson? Dyche has fallen into the trap of finding an effective way to play us. For us to play, and then completely changed it because of the availability of one player, and it could cost us big time. For us to stay up, we need to turn Goodison into a fortress, and the fans needed to believe it was. I think that illusion was shattered on Saturday, and it's going to be hard to bring it back.
I think he's summed that up really well. He should bring game on.
Yeah. Well said, Andrew. Paul says, seen the team, no Onana, then still no Dom. After all the videos the club put out, I fell flat straight away. I knew that 11 would struggle. Yeah. Andrew says, do you think it's time we pause the pre-match protests and bring back the coach welcome for the last 3 home games? I agree with the protests and I've been going on them. While I don't think they're having a negative effect, I don't think they're having a positive impact either. It's the last chance saloon for us, I'm afraid, and we have to go for broke with what we can do to help our team stay up. Well, could they? I don't know, but could they do the bus welcome and then turn that into the protest on Goodison Road?
And then keep it moving.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying, could you do both?
The coach arrival time or something? Recently,
don't come in on the coach, you just drive in the cars again.
So, what? You're just going to cheer every car that comes past because it might be an Everton player? Yeah.
Class. Where are we? Mark says it. Maupai will make us forget who Brett Angel was.
People turn up to the march and we make it like a bus welcome. How about that?
I don't think it'd make one bit of difference. And the same as I don't think the bus welcome would make a bit of difference this season. I just really don't. I don't know what you can make these players. Some of these players. You know what I mean? Yeah. Jez says this Brewster's billions is really doing my head in. Yeah. Jay says, well, I have to say, I feel none of last year's panic, just a numb acceptance. I know we shouldn't preempt results, but I see us being replaced by Leicester this weekend. Then on May the 1st, losing at the King Power, and that'll be it. Would love to be more optimistic, but we simply don't score goals, and that is on the board, and relegation can be their legacy.
I think the first part of what he just said sums up my feelings quite well, because last year was, losing sleep over will Everton go down.
Yeah,
it was do or die, and then this year we're probably just going to die, aren't we? Like it's so much more deflated, and I think we're all just exhausted of this fight that's been going on for 2 seasons now.
Yeah, I agree, Jack. Last year I was I felt sick for months from February onwards. Really, I think when Newcastle beat us last year, because we were just so terrible, I just started thinking, and Lampard only just come in and thinking, okay. And then that Tottenham game that was it. Spurs, I just felt sick. I thought we're going. We might just get enough, and the effort, and then it was like, no, actually, we'll stay up. I can see us staying up. But all my energy went into that, but I didn't sleep. This year, I haven't got the same fight. It's just like, how's it gone on again? How is the same thing being allowed to happen? And it's not even like the team's just being crap. We've got all the stuff with the board. So it's like the fight that was with the board and with the owner that happened, and it started when Benitez was appointed, that fight. Because if you think about it, when Carlo was here, people weren't happy with the board. Of course they weren't. But we had Ancelotti and Machiri was still trying. But then when he appointed Benitez, and then you saw that the board really were either fully compliant with that appointment or weren't strong enough to turn out to the owner and go, not happening, mate. You thought, what's the point of them then? And we've had that struggle and that battle and that fight now for, it's going to be 2 years. It's just too tiring. You can have a section of your club that you're not happy with, and a lot of the time, and it should really be just about the team, really, because that's what we all got. It's no good having a crap team, but a great board. I love the way we've got a boss board. Yeah. Forget the team are getting beat. That would never be the case. No. And if the team were winning, you'd still mightn't like the board, but at least all your focus wouldn't be on the board. It'd be like the team are doing well, aren't they? Them boards, we need to replace them, but the team are doing, and you'd have something positive. We haven't had that for such a long time. We haven't. What have we won? How many games have we won this season? 6, isn't it? It's 6, isn't it? We've won 6 games. What did we win last season? 9. So we've won 15 football matches in 80 odd it'll be, or whatever at the end of it, whatever it is now, 70 odd. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. We haven't even got players who get you on the edge of your seat.
No,
there's nobody
to get excited for, is there? Like,
you look at it and go, who am I going to watch? Why am I paying all this money to come and watch? You wouldn't go to theatre every week and watch crap actors every week in a terrible play, would you? You just wouldn't do it. But we do it because we support the football club. But
it's the kids I feel bad for. So who are they going to get on the back of the shirt? Like what kid's going to be like that?
I love the fact you, as a kid yourself, are saying that. That's the most poignant thing, isn't it? Young Jack is saying it's the kids I feel sorry for.
No,
but you're absolutely right, mate.
When I like
Yeah.
10 years ago, like there was Pienaar or Baines or like Morales,
Lukaku,
like,
there was players to get.
And then like, what kid's gonna be like? Can I have McNeil on the back of my away top? Like,
do you know no, but you know what though? What's the mad thing about that is he's probably one of the ones you could get. That's the mad thing. He's like one of our top scorers. McNeil or Gray.
Yeah, I thought they were level.
Just 3, hasn't he? Southampton, Palace, Leicester. 3 and Saturday 4. So he's with Gray. Him and Gray have got 4 each. Oh well, there you go. Do you actually prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee. I've got a lot more into tea over the last year though. I never used to drink it, but I can appreciate a good tea.
Good lad. Sazul says Dice the douche. The line-up and formation was scandalous. Another stubborn manager who has his favourites. How can anyone pick the Donkey Keane over Yerry is beyond me. Nothing changes at Everton. Just resign yourselves. Just going down, guys, and you'll feel better. Pep says, Pep's here. Here's right, Pep. Honestly, I would take any opportunity to put Michael Keane up front instead of Maupay. When Dom is injured, Keane has a goal in him. Steve P says, the thing that worries me the most is if we go down, which I personally believe we will, this current team will not score enough goals to get promoted. Every single team in this league apart from us have at least one good attacker who can score. I genuinely believe we have the worst attack in the league. If and when it does happen, how can the recruitment team keep their jobs? They needed to be hounded out along with the board. And on Dyche, it seems like managers come here and end up making the most bizarre decisions. Even Ancelotti did the same. There's obviously something seriously wrong with this club. And also, how's Maupay an inside forward? That's just an excuse of how poor a striker he truly is. Doesn't have a single attribute to play the position or any position at this level.
Whatever type of forward he is, any forward should be burying the chances he had. Whatever type of forward.
Even if he's I don't know why. If he'd have just leathered that, right, and the keeper saves it, I wouldn't have had to go. I'd have just gone, well, because he'd done well to get in the position. If he hits it and Leno saves it or blocks it with his knees and it goes away because he took an instinctive shot, I'd go, all right. The fact is, he had the whole goal to aim at and he waited and tried to dink it over him as if he's Mo Salah or someone, you know.
Tried to like put it in between like the space between his arms.
I know,
and,
just
like,
blast it.
Nah,
that's poor. Paul, it's berserk, mate. It can be bizarre, berserk, bastard shite. It can be over. Okay. Steve Williams says our last game of the season against Bournemouth is on my 30th birthday. Mate, I'll be honest, I think it'll be all over by then. Yeah.
30 going on 60.
So, there you go. And Hakon says Duke's stupid red card might cost us dearly. Seems like the team fell through when he disappeared. And James said if Dom wasn't fit, why wasn't he in the under-21s? Even if it was just half an hour, would have been a good test for him.
That's not a bad shout, really, is it? Unless he was just not even at that level of availability. But then,
how isn't he at that? How isn't he at that?
Pictures of him training. If he's not, he might be fit enough to play for the under-21s and have not played them. I don't know. But if he isn't, and they're putting pictures and documentaries and videos out of him training, like.
Hannah Lucy says, I'm a Leeds fan and I'm going tonight. I don't feel exactly confident on a result, but that third spot is us, Everton or Leicester for me. It's draining, and she's absolutely right here. It's draining because next season will probably be the same again, and that's a Leeds fan saying it, and you're absolutely right. Hannah, is it Hannah or is it Lucy? Or is it Hannah Lucy? Just let us know. Let's finish on a positive here. Steve Tilly or Tiley says, as a West Ham fan, I'd rather Leicester go down or Everton. Thank you very much, mate. But I just don't know. It's just one of them, isn't it? It's so frustrating, isn't it? Oh my God. The Blues says G rates our defence as individuals, aside from Tarky and Coleman, who's near retirement. Our defence is championship. I think Patterson looks like he's got promise to play, and Mikalenko's getting worse, it seems, at the moment. His confidence has gone or whatever, but Michael Keane, no. Mina, I think's good enough, but he's not playing him. Conor Cody, I think's decent, but do we get away with both of those two? So, I don't know, though, because I do look at other Premier League defences and they're terrible. So there's some bad defending in this league. Really bad.
Really.
Isn't there? What's mad is if Everton do go, then half a dozen at least are going, aren't they, in this team? Iwobi, Pickford, Onana will be gone. Calvert-Lewin, I imagine, someone will take him.
Someone,
Michael Keane, them kind of players. So we'll lose a lot of players, whether Onana obviously be gone straight away. Guy would probably go as well. So straight away you'd lose 7, 8 of these players, and it's what you're left with then and how you build. I think Tarkowski will stay, to be honest. I don't think he'd go. So your centre-backs for me next season would have to be Branthwaite if he wants to stay. But it'd be Branthwaite and Tarkowski. They'd be the two I'd play next season. Patterson right back. Play Smith-Samuels at left back. I need to get his name right.
I think
Is it Smith-Samuels or Samuel-Smith? Samuel-Smith, isn't it? Sorry. I've gone full ped with Alexander-Arnold. Samuel-Smith, get him in a left back or something. And because you're going to have to rebuild. And we're not going to have... We're already... I think if we go down, it's like a 50 million deficit immediately because of the money. Because you get the parachute payments, but it's not the same. We've changed it again. So straight away, you're trying to make that back on some players just to get north, just to get level. And then from there, they're going to have to pick it. They're going to have to try to build a team that's capable of getting up.
Onana and Pickford go just to make that level, really, don't they? And maybe have a little bit.
And then you've got Maupay will go 100%. He'll be
hopefully.
Gone. Yeah, Dele will be back, captain. He'll just go, look, with easy, we're gambling on Dele.
Good for Dele though, because all those little places we'll be going to, he'll be able to open nightclubs in those little towns while we're there, won't we? I mean, it's a win-win for him. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. When he's opening Starlight's discotheque, tremendous.
Adam Morris, who's a Villa fan, says, have faith, it's amazing what a real manager can do. You have one, so I trust out. Deitch will keep you. Listen, Adam, thank you for coming in on it. Villa are tremendous at the moment, so enjoy it. Emery's a brilliant manager. He's one me and Pet would have had every day that we can wanted for a while. Yeah, you have. Wanted them at Sevilla. But he would have. Yeah, Gerrard. We could have had Ollie Watkins.
Gordon and Bayer.
We could have had Ollie Watkins in the summer.
No.
Gerrard wanted them gone. Everton spoke to Villa. Villa wanted 30 million. And we didn't have the money to pay the 30 million at the time. Why? If we'd have just gone to Gordon, off you go, son. We could have had Ollie Watkins. He's a proper centre forward. Villa fans be made up now, obviously, that we haven't got him because he's tremendous.
Fucking not selling him.
Follow Everton. Trust me, mate. All of those players who I've just named will get teams. All of them. All of them. Trust me. And Everton need them to go. Can't keep them players. Because we just can't afford them. Right, hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe to Toffee TV Football. Thank you very much. We're going off to do the final word now. It's going to be live on Premiere, so if you're a Premiere member watching, it's loads of your art. We'll be doing that. When are we doing it? 2:45 or 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock. That will be starting on Toffee TV Premiere. Join us on that. Like I say, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It really helps. Thank you. Also, subscribe to Toffee TV Football for lots of chat about non-Everton chat, so it's fantastic.
Yeah,
get over there. It's much better. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you later. Ciao.